Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So today we're talking all things new builds and new build snags. So I wanted to do a dedicated video of just the things that we found when we moved in. We've been in our new build house for just over a year now. So when we first moved in we weren't really aware of the things to be looking out for. If I'm honest, we didn't really look into the things we should have. We did come across quite a few snags. This isn't by any means anything bad towards the developers, and the developers were amazing when it came to sorting the issues out. It is just I wanted to make you guys aware and help you if you come across these things as well, or just to look out for these things. Our developers were great and they did come and rectify anything that we had, any issues wise. There are a few things still outstanding, but this year hasn't been the best for people being able to come and fix things. So yes, but what I'm going to do is run through the list of things on my phone. So as you can see, I have got quite a big list. Like I said, this isn't anything bad against the developers. It's a natural thing, it's a new house and they're human, so things are going to be wrong, but that's not the end of the world. We have moved into this house. Like I said, we've been here a year. We absolutely love this house. But yeah, I'm just going to run through the things with you. I have written them into sort of a list of rooms. We have found the bedrooms, so we've got 3 bedrooms, and if I'm honest, I can't think of any issues that we've had in any of the bedrooms. When we first moved in, there was a bit of a problem with some black spot mould and damp around the windows, as you can see along here, just in the very corners. They went a bit green to start with, and a bit black. That again really wasn't anything the developers could have done. We did move in December, and the house was still drying out, so there wasn't really anything they could have done. They did advise us just to wipe the windows down and hopefully it will go, and it did. So yeah, like I said, the bedrooms, off the top of my head, I can't think of any issues that we've had at all. So big thumbs up. The main issues are little bits around the house, the bathroom and the kitchen, and they are the 2 biggest rooms that we've had quite a few issues with. So I'm going to start with the bathroom. Now what I will do, I'll run through them. If I have got any pictures, I'll insert them. Like I said, the developers have come and fixed the majority of things, so I don't really have anything to show you anymore. But if you do reserve a new build or you're moving into a new build, look out for these things and get them fixed. So the bathroom, they're not in any particular order, I'm just going to run through them. So the bathroom, there was a big leak under the bath. Now I was adamant there was something wrong in the bathroom. Every time I went in there I kept saying it stinks in here. There's just something about this bathroom that stinks. We've always got the is it trickle vents open, so I just couldn't figure out what it was. It was always ventilated in there. Obviously we use nice smelling products, always clean, and it was just driving me insane. I could not for the life of me figure out what was going on. Until we started getting bumps in the lino, which wasn't a massive issue, but it just seemed to get worse and worse. So I emailed the developers and said, look, we've got bumps in the lino. If I'm honest, it's getting quite bad. They were really quite raised, that it was noticeable. So they came to look, they cut all the silicone around the edges and pulled it back, and there was a big leak. So my first thought was, oh great, more work. But no, they were really good about it. So they had a look, they couldn't find where it was coming from, which was a bit weird, but they said what the issue was. The silicone around the so we've got a shower and a bath, and the silicone around the seal of the shower screen and around the edge of the bath just wasn't sealed properly, so that was leaking, which isn't a massive problem, but obviously it was a slow leak that probably 6 to 8 months been going on. So when the lino was pulled back, the floor was black. It was really bad. At this point, the developers were saying, no, we can't really come in and have a look. So what we'll do, we'll fix the leak, we'll stick the lino back down and flatten it. And I said, if I'm honest, I'm not really happy to do that. The lino is black, the floor is black, and it really smells in the bathroom. And the only way that it's going to be fixed is if you leave the lino open to dry, which again isn't a massive issue, but I wasn't really happy about that. I feel like because we were maybe a little bit younger, they not tried to take advantage, but they definitely just wanted a quick option, just to stick the lino back down. That was the cheapest and the quickest option. So I did actually, this was probably the only thing I have put my foot down with and said, no, I would like the lino replaced. So what they did, they went out to the van, they got a knife and cut the wood on the floor. Is it plywood? They cut that out and replaced it, so it was all fresh, clean, dry wood. They also got the carpet men or flooring people to come out and to replace the whole lino, which was absolutely brilliant. So that was probably the biggest issue we had, or one of, and they did fix it, so I can't fault them for that, but do look out for that. That does move on to some of the others. The silicone around the bath and up the wall where they join showers really isn't great at all. We've had so the bath wasn't jacked up, is it? So it wasn't jacked up enough, so as soon as we started getting in the bath and pulling it down, all the lining around the edges cracked. So what that was, that the builders hadn't filled the bath up with water, siliconed it, let it set, and then let the water out. They just siliconed it as soon as the bath was in. And as soon as obviously weight was in there, it was pulling the lino down, pulling the bath down, meaning there was a gap in the silicone, which that primarily was the reason for the leak. So if they had just done that, saved themselves a job. But yes, another issue with the bathroom, the grout in, so this is the same with the tiles in the kitchen as well actually. The grout in any of the recesses of the tiles is awful. From day one when we moved in, I looked at it and I just thought, it just looks old. And I'll try and insert some pictures, it might not pick up very well, but if you look at the grouting, it just looks yellow and it just looks awful. And funnily enough, I spoke to one of my neighbours recently and she said exactly the same thing before I'd even mentioned it, so it's not just me. But yeah, really, really yellow, and against our white marble tiles, it just looks awful. So I wasn't very impressed with that. I think what we'll do is get one of those white pens and just go across it and just freshen it up. It just looks dirty more than anything, so that is a bit annoying. Also around the the shower door where they've siliconed it to make it waterproof, that has all gone very mouldy and black. That has also been replaced already because of the leak, and it's black again, so I don't know whether it's just the quality of the materials they're using. It just doesn't seem very, I don't know, very nice at all. And like I said, it's gone black twice now, so within a year, twice, and it's been replaced. So that is a bit frustrating. Not a massive issue, and we haven't reported it again, if I'm honest. We're probably just best off doing it ourselves, which with a new build you shouldn't really have to do. But that is definitely something to look out for when reporting all the snags. I know you can't see that sort of thing initially, but just keep an eye on it. Moving on to the next thing, when the bath panel was taken off to have a look for the leak, the amount of rubbish left underneath the bath, there is a whole, so from where the bath panel is backwards, it's just full of rubbish. Again, we didn't say anything, we just left it, and it is still under there, which is a bit disgusting. But I wasn't very impressed with that. I think it's a lot of money we're paying for a new build house. You can at least take your rubbish with you. Now, I know I sound like I'm moaning a lot, but I did just want to film this video just so you guys can look out for this stuff. I know a lot of people will report a lot of the things we have. So yeah, I just want to say I'm not moaning. So the grouting, another thing which is very frustrating, we haven't reported, but the bath plug, Now it's one of the ones that sits in and you push it to open it and to close it. It just doesn't work, so you can't close it. And if you do close it, it doesn't open. So we have to either not have a bath or just work out ways to get the bath plug out once you've closed it. Ultimately, it just doesn't come out, so it's quite risky. Obviously, we can't then shower if it gets stuck, so that is very frustrating. I have tried to come up with other solutions by putting suction flannels in there just to hold the water. It does work, but I shouldn't have to be doing that with a new build, so it is frustrating. The quality of the paintwork in the bathroom and throughout the whole house, if I'm honest, is awful. So when we were due to move in, they told us a couple of weeks before the property won't be ready. So we said, okay, that's fine, we'll move in at the end of, or mid to end of January, that's not a problem. And then they rushed it, and we managed to move in on the 20th of December 2019, which was great. But they have rushed a lot of things in here. One being paintwork and the quality of the house. The paintwork, if you look around all the rooms, as you can see, this one we have actually done ourselves. The quality just isn't there. The white, as you can see, I don't know how well you can see it, it looks quite fresh there. The rest of the house, not so much. It was just one coat of paint throughout the whole house, and you can really see the marks. The sort of marks on the ceiling around where the lights are just look awful. There's marks all over the ceiling from screws, from joists, just chips that builders had made, and again, not the best finish. They did, however, come back to, we had some quite bad scuffs on the stairs. They did, however, come back and sort that, and whilst they were here, we said we have made a few scuffs moving in, and they said, oh, that's not a problem, we'll go over it, which was great. So they were really good with that. They did, however, say they would come back and repaint the whole house, but if I'm honest, I didn't really want them in the house for 2 whole days or whatever they said it would take. When they came back to paint the landing and the stairs, they did get paint on the carpet, so I was a bit put off by that idea, and I didn't really like the thought of someone just being in the house for 2 days straight. I would rather do it myself at this point. I would have liked it to have been done before we moved in. It didn't happen, so that's fine, but we'll do it ourselves. So the quality of the bathroom is probably one of the worst rooms, and the finish around so the bottom of the toilet where the cistern is, all around the back of the toilet just looks really rough. It doesn't even look like it's been painted, it's just siliconed and just doesn't look very nice at all. So that is something also to bear in mind. If we'd noticed it sooner, we potentially might have got it done. Obviously with moving in 5 days before Christmas, the day we moved in they broke up for Christmas, meaning our 7-day check to sign off our paperwork wasn't done. So by the time they did come back, it was almost a bit late. We'd fully moved in by that point, so it wasn't a massive issue, but again, something to look out for. Just on that note, the downstairs toilet, so when you choose your options, you choose all of the tiles. We chose different tiles for the kitchen, the windowsill, for the bathroom and for the downstairs toilet. For all 3 rooms we chose different tiles. Upstairs we chose sort of white and grey marble, which looks nice in the bathroom. For the downstairs windowsill we just chose plain white. And then for the downstairs toilet we chose it was a white tile but had like ripples through it, which looked really nice. They managed to put all the same tiles everywhere, so the bathroom was obviously right. The downstairs windowsill we ended up with grey marble tiles against a wooden worktop, which I personally didn't like at all. That's not what we asked for. And the bathroom also had the marble tile downstairs, which again we didn't ask for. So we did mention it. Brad decided, my partner, he thought the ones in the kitchen were okay and we could manage with them, so we've kept them ones. The one in the downstairs toilet, however, we wanted to replace the flooring as we weren't chuffed with the choices we were given, so we wanted to replace that tile so it did match what we had planned for the floor. So we wanted all different, I don't know what they're called, like they're like mismatched tiles on the floor. That obviously wouldn't have matched a marble tile, so that we asked to be removed and replaced, and it took them probably about 6 weeks to come back and do it, which isn't, again, a massive issue, but they had said, oh, don't worry about that, we knew it was the issue, we knew it was an issue, so we've only stuck it on gently. So they'd only stuck it on gently apparently, but we had to wait 6 weeks with it only stuck on gently, which was a bit worrying. But yeah, they did eventually come back and change it, so that is obviously good. But I think, let me just double check. So that is it for the bathroom. One more tiny thing for the bathroom, for both upstairs and downstairs. If you own a new build, this might be a common thing for you as well. The toilet seats, they never stay tight. I don't know what it is about them. And when we moved in, we had, we didn't report it, but when they came back to do other problems in the bathroom, we did mention the toilet seat and he said, oh, tighten that up for you, which was great. We then noticed on Facebook a couple of days later, someone in our estate had put on the little community page saying, if anyone needs help with tightening the toilet seats, I know a trick. So it's clearly an issue. I just don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's the quality of them or the type they use, but they never stay tight. The upstairs one seems to be okay. The downstairs one, you just can't sit on. As soon as you sit on it, it just goes flying to the side, which we're aware of. Any guests that could potentially come round aren't aware. So that is something, again, to look out for. And to get the developers to come back and tighten. We have given it a go ourselves, but for some reason we can't do it. So I don't know if that's us. But yeah, we just could not, for the life of us, get it to stay. So I'm so sorry if the angle has changed. I was clearly waffling too much so that my camera overheated, and then I managed to knock everything off. So if it has changed, I'm ever so sorry. But let's get back to where we were. Next thing is our back door. So in our kitchen we've got two doors that open out, which, what are they called? Patio doors, are they? Patio doors. So we've got two of them that open out, and the seal around one of them just was bent in, so it would fold underneath the door, and all along the top was missing. We didn't notice the bit at the top missing to start with, so we had the side bit. It wasn't replaced. They came back and said, oh, we'll just try and train it to stay in. So we tried it. It hasn't worked, so I really should report it again. But all along the top it is missing. Now it's the colder months and we notice quite a lot. It is really quite drafty in the kitchen. So as soon as you walk in, it just feels a completely different temperature. And we are always cold in this house, so our heating is on 24/7. So there's no reason for our kitchen to be cold at all, but the seal was broken, so it's just so cold in the kitchen. The door handle on the kitchen door to go into the garden, this sounds ridiculous, but somehow they'd managed to scratch the door handle, so there's a massive black mark, and they just painted over it. Which sounds ridiculous, but I obviously noticed it and said no, so they did replace it. But what I hadn't noticed, they had done exactly the same but on the outside of the other door. That is still there. I'm not too worried about it, but yeah, again, something to look out for when you do go around with your pen and paper. Lastly, in the kitchen, the lino. So where our lino goes underneath the unit, it is probably that much. Can you see? That much too short. Again, you can't really notice it. It's not a massive issue, but it's right underneath our kitchen counter, and loads of, to put it politely, rubbish falls in there. And because it is so small, you can't get in there. So we've got a little handheld that we can go along with and hoover up. But it's just so difficult to get in there. and if I'm honest, it just looks, I'm so paranoid, it just looks disgusting. So we did have the builders come back out and have a look, and they said, yeah, we'll replace that, that is not cut right. They had the carpet people come out and have a look, and they said what we will do is we will cut a strip and we'll stick it down so it'll just blend in. And I said no, that if you had done that and we hadn't noticed, then fine, but I being aware that that's what's going to happen, would rather you didn't do that. I personally don't think it will look okay. I mean, you guys can tell me if that's a normal thing. I personally didn't want them to do that to our kitchen floor, so we left it. But the quality of the kitchen floor is just awful. I get it's lino, it's not amazing anyway, but we have our dining room table at the other end of the kitchen, and where we have the chairs moving all the time, you can see every single imperfection on the floor, which drives me insane. So we do have plans to take the lino up and get some tiles put down, which will look a lot nicer. Yeah, so the quality just isn't amazing. I would like to think the amount we pay for these houses, they would be a bit better, but never mind. So the last little bits are just sort of bits here and there that you should look out for. The most important one for us, when we moved in over Christmas, we moved in, they gave us the keys and said, off you go, which is great. They didn't, however, check the heating was set up correctly. It works, it was fine, but what they had done is we have a thermostat upstairs in our bedroom, so it's got separate heating, and a thermostat downstairs which controls the whole house, which is fine, great, all working. They hadn't, however, checked to make sure that they were the right way round. So come the evening when it was very chilly, we wanted to put the heating on, we put it on and thought, this just isn't warming up, it's just not warm. We couldn't figure it out. The boiler was switched on, the heating setting was switched on, the boiler was on, we could hear it kicking in, it was on, but we just could not get it to work. We even fiddled with the radiators, nothing. When we went to bed, the heating in the bedroom was ridiculous, so hot, nearly unbearable that we couldn't even sleep in there. It was December, we had the windows open, we couldn't even sleep with the duvet on, it was just unbearably hot. We didn't realise, obviously at the time, we wouldn't have, that they'd switched them over. So it wasn't until a couple of days later when I spoke to one of my friends, she said she had exactly the same issue. She actually bought a house just around the back. She had exactly the same issue, and they just put the thermostat controls the other way around. So we did figure it out before we could even report it, because obviously no one was there to report it to, as it was Christmas. We figured it out and we just turned the heating downstairs off for the bedroom and the heating in the bedroom on for the rest of the house, which was fine. We then had heating. However, what they had also done is, oh, my battery's flashing, I'm talking too much. What they had also done is left the, I think it's just a standard switch on the boiler to keep the heating on all the time. So while the bedroom was turned off, it was still unbearably hot in there because they just left the switch on, meaning the heating was always on. Again, they came and sorted this out after we could report it, which was great. So that was sorted, but it wasn't until New Year, and it was quite a big thing for us. Obviously we had no heating downstairs for a couple of days because we just couldn't figure it out. So that was very frustrating. And a couple of other things. So the actual thermostat for the downstairs, it has the time on it. So you can set the timer to come on and off when you like, as you please. But ours has the wrong time on it, meaning you're setting the heating to come on at a certain time, but that time doesn't reflect what's on the thermostat. So for example, it's now 4 o'clock in the afternoon, ours says something like 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's only coming on at, so if we set it to come on at 4 now, it won't come on at 4 now because according to the thermostat it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So that was an issue. We had that sorted because you can't actually change the time on there, you have to have a whole new thermostat. We had it changed, but the timing was still out. I think it was only maybe by half an hour, which isn't an issue as such. He did say if it doesn't update itself then let us know and we'll change it. But yeah, we weren't too worried about that. But again, that's something to look out for, because our heating was just coming on and off at the complete wrong times, even though we'd set it, which was again frustrating. And the last few bits are just little bits here and there. So the tops of the doors weren't painted, which you can't really see. But as we come down our stairs, there's the understairs cupboard, which just happened to be open one day, and I could see that they hadn't painted it at all. Those sort of bits you expect to be done, but weren't. Quite a few of our doors either stick, or when they're closed, the little bit that goes into the door doesn't close properly, so you close it, but it'll just ping straight open. Again, very frustrating. We haven't reported them, but they're just little bits. The carpet on the stairs isn't great. It's not actually stuck down very well at all, so it does at the edges sort of lift up a little bit, so you can see where it's not completely stuck down. And the spikes underneath are quite sharp, so if you kick the back of the stair, it is quite sharp. I don't know if that's the same for all stairs, but obviously living here we notice it a lot more. And I think the last two things, I know I've just absolutely rammed, and the last little snag we had was one of the light switches. There was two next to each other, so one for the front room and one for the stairs going upstairs. They were the wrong way round, which it wasn't a problem at all. It was just frustrating. I know I keep saying frustrating a lot, but I don't want to sound like I'm moaning. So you would turn the front room light on, but it would turn the stairs on, or you turn the stairs on and it would turn downstairs on. So you have to get used to them being the wrong way around, which was fine. I did mention it when one of the electricians was here to sort out our light. We asked him to come back and fit a light for us, which we paid for. So I did mention it, and he said, "Oh, I fitted that, so let me sort it out." And I said, "Thank you." That was great. He did, however, break all the plasterboard round the window, round the plug. No, round the light switch. Oh, so yeah, he broke the plaster around the light switch, and that stayed like that for months because he was supposed to report it. He didn't. We reported it, and nothing got done about it. So it is, however, now done. But it did take ages. But yes, that is everything, I think. I think that's everything. I know that seems an awful lot, but when you move into a new house, you do expect these things to be done. And unfortunately weren't. A lot of it has been finished, come back and sorted, which is great. But I thought I'd make this video, like I said at the start, just in case anyone is moving into a new build or you're curious to see what things we had, things you need to look out for. But I do want to do if you guys are interested, a pros and cons of moving into a new build or buying a new build house. So if you did want to see that, give the video a thumbs up, just so I know if you would be interested in that. Obviously there are a lot of pros to buying a new house. These are probably some of the cons to buying a new house, but they definitely don't outweigh the cons of a new build. So yeah, like I said, give it a thumbs up if you do want to see that, or comment down below and just let me know. I would happily make that video. So we've been in here a year now. We know sort of what the pros were, what the cons were, if we would do it again. Obviously, if I do make the video, I can go through, would we buy a new build again, which is a very interesting question. But yeah, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below and stick around for some more videos. Bye!